I'm sitting on the wing of a 1952 Chipmunk. The type was designed by de Havilland Canada. In 1946 the prototype flew and the Canadians built 217 examples. But the type was actually designed at the behest of the de Havilland parent company in the UK because they wanted a replacement for their Tiger Moth, which at the time was the Royal Air Force's principal ab initio trainer. So what I'm sitting on is actually a British-built example. 1,000 were built in the UK and 66 others were actually built in Portugal. The UK Armed Forces took over 700 of that 1,000 that were built in Britain. And I'm actually sitting on number 714 of that 1,000. This is a particularly significant Chipmunk because in 1996 the Royal Air Force decided to send 2 of its fleet around the world to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the type. That attempt failed because of essentially logistical reasons. They got as far as Moscow and they had to turn around and return back to the UK. But they were motivated enough to press for a second opportunity, and in 1997 Northern Venture took off from Cranfield and circumnavigated the globe in the Northern Hemisphere in 63 days. They went out across Western Europe, across the Russian Federation, hopping the Bering Strait into Alaska and then across Canada, where they made a pilgrimage stop at Downsview, the home of de Havilland Canada, the home of the Chipmunk, where it was designed and where all the Canadian examples were built. From Downsview they continued up into Newfoundland, across to Greenland and then home via Iceland and the Faroes. The team for that 1997 Northern Venture, it was led by Squadron Leader Tony Cowan. The other 2 Chipmunk pilots were Squadron Leaders Ced Hughes and Bill Purchase. They were ably supported by engineer David Gill, and an Islander support ship was flown by Flight Lieutenant Tony Severs. This aircraft is one of those 2, which I'm fortunate to be the custodian of. The other of the pair sits in the Royal Air Force Museum. I'm sitting here in 2022 and it's the 25th anniversary of Northern Venture from 1997, and it's my plan this summer, weather, maintenance and everything else being willing, to take this aircraft, which is actually RAF serial WP833, up to Canada and then to fly 5 of the legs which they flew in 1997 on the anniversary dates. I'll be leaving here on May the 1st, fingers crossed. The actual flights are in June. I'm allowing a little bit of time for things which could go wrong, and with vintage aeroplanes frequently do go wrong, but hopefully things will work out. I'll be able to execute those flights in June, and after Oshkosh we'll be sitting back here at Flaybob in Southern California in early August. So the legs I'm planning to fly are from Prince Albert to Winnipeg on June the 24th. On the 25th, Winnipeg to Thunder Bay. On the 26th, Thunder Bay to Sault Ste. Marie and through to Downsview. Days break at Downsview, and then on the 28th, Downsview to Rockcliffe. And that'll have a special meaning for me because that's actually where I had my very first ride in a Chipmunk. Now, anyone familiar with the Chipmunk will know that it has a limited range, limited duration, 2 hours maximum in most practical circumstances with an RAF type of Chipmunk. And of course it's difficult to get across some parts of the world, particularly the Russian Federation, Canada, and of course the North Atlantic, without fairly lengthy legs. And they solved this by installing in the rear cockpit an auxiliary fuel tank which more than doubled the capacity that's in the two wings. Now I don't have that luxury. I do have the tank, but the cost and complication of installing it has been more than I'm frankly prepared to endure. So I'm having to first of all ensure that the legs on which I am flying do have convenient stops along the way, so that what might have been a 3 to 4 hour flight for Northern Venture 1997 is going to be doable with typically around 30, around 45 legs for Northern Venture 2022. And I've therefore selected routes which actually do give me that capability. Plus the logistics of trying to fly across the whole of Canada would be also quite horrendous. So on those legs, not only will I be flying them with one of the aircraft which originally flew them, but I'm also wearing here Bill Purchase's flight suit that he wore for going around the world. I have here his helmet, which he kindly gave me with the helmet, well, sorry, with the flight suit, and I even have his dog tags. I'll also be flying using the ONC 1 per million charts which they used in 1997 as my means of pilotage. Yep, I've got ForeFlight, but it's going to be tucked away unless something hits the fan and I need it for any particular reason. But my plan is to navigate my way across using those original charts. If anyone is in the vicinity of the route I'm taking, I'd be more than happy to have company on my wing for any of the legs I'm flying, particularly if they're Chipmunks. You can go to WP833-LLC.aero, AERO, and there's a link there which says NV25, that's the 25th anniversary of Northern Venture, and find the whole plan there. And as I progress, I'll also be recording progress. So join me if you can, at least online. On the wing would be just fantastic. Have a good summer, and if nowhere else, maybe see you at Oshkosh. Thanks.